Pivot tables. So in this section, what we do is we see what are the advantages of a pivot table, how we can create a pivot table, and what are the powerful features of pivot table. Pivot tables are an essential feature of Excel and is a very powerful feature. It is used to analyze, explore, summarize, and present one's data. Independent to original data layout in the sheet, pivot table is a great reporting tool that sorts and sums data and reports it in a separate table. For example, one could take sales data with columns salesperson, region, and product and use pivot tables to find out how the products are faring in a region. However, pivot tables are not generally used in financial models but are used more in management reporting. This is because in financial modeling, heavy reliance is held on inputs and outputs, and one expects output to change with change in inputs. That may not be the case with pivot tables. This is because by default, pivot tables are static in the sense they do not change with change in input until it gets refreshed. That is why most experts recommend use of SUMIF in place of pivot tables. However, one can change the settings of the pivot table and have it refresh data by explicitly going to options and on the data tab where one could refresh data while opening the file. So in the example given below, we draw a pivot table showing summarizing sales by customers. So what we do is we take a look at the pivot table in an Excel spreadsheet and see how we can create one. So this is a spreadsheet which has a list of values and it is sales data actually. There is a customer column, there is store, there is a product column, and then there is price. So what we do is we try to pull data from this set of values or table and then we present it in a different table called pivot table. So for doing that, what we do is we go to data, we go to insert tab and then there is pivot table. So we click on that and then it gives us a dialog box which says whether you want to create a pivot table. So we say yes, we want to create it and it should be in the existing worksheet at location, let's say M1, and we OK it. So now there is a message which says to build pivot table you have to choose fields from the right hand side where there is a form which you have to fill to get the pivot table on the spreadsheet. So here what we do is we choose customer, we choose price, and in the fields which are shown below, we have not put any filters yet, we have not put any columns, but we have got customer under rows. So the rows will be customers. So how many different customers are there? There are 5 different customers: Ahmed, Bill, Faisal, Fred and Jen. So all those will be rows. On the value side, it is the sum of price. So if Ahmed had bought few items, all those prices of the items will be added and it will be shown as one price. So that sum of price will give the aggregate of all the items which a particular person has bought and they sum it up and then they show. That's the sum of price. So the values column, it is price or sum of price. Now let us also add filter. store as a filter. So if you put store as a filter, then it also lets us use a filter which says where you bought it from, whether it is downtown or uptown. So one of this, if you choose downtown as on the filter field, then the result will show all the items which are bought from downtown for all the different users. So currently we see there are only 4 users who have bought items from downtown. So it will be segregated and it will be shown like this. So this is the advantage of it. The disadvantage of using pivot table is that the pivot table cannot be refreshed. So if one opens a file and starts working on the spreadsheet, when the first time the pivot table is created, you will get some data. But after that, the refresh will not happen to pivot table. So if somebody else changes the spreadsheet, the corresponding change on the pivot table is not reflected. So that is a great disadvantage. And that is why it is not used in financial models, but it is mostly used in management reporting. Hope you understood. Thank you.